Shalom, shalom. I am going to be reading from Matthew 24. I'm going to be using the King James Version, but I will not be using any other name but that which are the true names of our Creator and His Son. But it will be the King James. And I'm reading King James because most people have King James. There are other translations like the TS 2009, the Hallelujah Scriptures, and the Basora. And I'm sure there's a few other ones that I don't know of that use the restored names, the true names of the Father and His Son. So I'm going to read Matthew 24. And Yeshua went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples, his messengers, his taught ones, came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple. And Yeshua said unto them, See ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. Now let's take a pause right there and go to Matthew 16 in verse, let's start with verse 1. The Pharisees also with the Sadducees came and tempting desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven. He answered and said unto them, When it is evening, you say it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. O you hypocrites, you can discern the face of the sky, but you cannot discern the signs of times. A wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given unto it, but the sign of the prophet Jonah. And he left them and departed. A wicked and adulterous generation. Adulterous. Okay. So we'll go on with Matthew 24, beginning now at verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples, the taught ones, his set apart ones, came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? And Yeshua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. Right there. Take heed that no man deceive you. I don't know if you realize it, but we have been deceived since the fall. The enemy deceived Eve, and he's been deceiving mankind ever since. Take heed that no man deceive you. So as you do research on your own and not just take the word of a preacher or a teacher, but you start searching yourself and start praying, because Yeshua said that when he left, he would send back, the Father would send the Comforter, and who would lead us into all truth. And in Jeremiah, he says, if you seek me with all your heart, I will be found of you, or I will let you find me. You know, he won't turn us away if we seek him. So if you seek him for truth, he will show it to you. And as you find out more and more truth, you will see just how deceived we have been throughout the ages about everything. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. Christ meaning anointed one. We have all these preachers. They're the anointed ones, they think, they say. Verse 6, And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for by all these things must come, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdoms against kingdoms. There shall be famines and pestilence, earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. In Revelations 3, it says that some will be put in prison for 10 days, but endure to the end. And there's a wonderful reward for those who endure to the end. So what Yahushua says in Revelations, it said here, he's saying it here. They shall deliver you up. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. Here we go with deception again. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. That's happening. Not just even in the in relationships and in families is love waxing cold, but of course he's definitely talking about the love of the Father is waxing cold. Because remember, the very first commandment is to love Yahuwah, our Father, with all our heart, mind, soul, and strength, and we should have nothing before Him. But he that shall endure until the end, the same shall be saved. He that endured till the end shall be saved. So you're not saved from the very beginning when you walk down that church aisle? Wow. Something else to think about. Something else to do some research on. And this good news of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. When you therefore shall see the abomination desolations spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whosoever readeth, let him understand. Let him understand. What is there to understand? Except that, could that temple be a temple made with man's hands? Or is it this earthen vessel? Is it us? Are we the temple? Or something else to study and to pray about. Then let them which be in Judea, which is the cities, flee into the mountains. Get out these cities. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. Remember Lot's wife. The angel told them, don't look back. And she did. She was hating that she was leaving that wicked city, Sodom or Gomorrah. And woe unto them that are with child, unto them that give suck in those days. People better stop having babies, because the time is coming. It's so upon us. All you can do is look at the shelves in the stores. Pretty soon it's not going to be that much food, if any. And if we go a day or two without food and you have a baby who needs to eat, that's going to be really hard. It's going to be really hard to watch your baby struggling with hunger. But that's your business, not mine. I can't tell you not to have babies, but I'm just sharing with you that times are getting ready to get hard. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. For then shall there be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. Now, why would he tell us to pray that our flight be not in the winter nor on the Sabbath if we're not going to be here? Because I know there's people who believe that the church is going to be, quote unquote, raptured out before the tribulation. Evidently not, because he's talking to the people. And except those days be... Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. I skipped a verse, a very important verse. Verse 21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. Great tribulation. Now, verse 22. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So he's going to shorten those days of tribulations for the sake of his elect. Oh, the people who are not supposed to be here? Church, we're going to be here. Believers, we are going to be here. Then if any man shall say unto you, lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not. For there shall rise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. There's going to be a lot of miracles and healings and all these things happening, but they're not necessarily going to be of Yah. And so the very elect could even be deceived if it were not for their love for truth, their relationship with Yah, them knowing his voice. Because even if they were almost deceived at that very minute before they give their heart over to that, Yah will reveal it. Behold, I have told you before, wherefore, if they shall say unto you, behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not. But let's go back to go back to verse 24, where he says, for there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Then verse 25, behold, I have told you before. How many times has he told us up to this point, do not be deceived? Verse 26, wherefore, if they shall say unto you, behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not. For as the lightning coming out of the east, shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For wheresoever the carcass is, there will be the eagles be gathered together. Immediately after the tribulation. Oh, what? Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. Wow. Immediately after the tribulation. And then, oh, wait a minute. Verse 29 says, immediately after the tribulation of those days. And then verse 30 says, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. Then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. I believe the angels told the taught ones that when they saw him ascending up into heaven, they said, why look you up gazing up in here? Because the same way he went, all eyes are going to see him when he returns. So he's going to return in great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet. And Paul talked about that in Thessalonians. The sound of the trumpet, and in Corinthians, the sound of the trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. But that's immediately after the tribulation. So those who have been taught that we're not going to be here, we are going to be here, and it's time to prepare. You got to wake up. You got to wake up and know it. Start searching those scriptures, flipping those pages. Read the book of Revelation. He said those who read it and hear the words of it are blessed. Read the book of Revelations. Read Daniel. And there's so many other verses throughout the word that will encourage you and let you know that we are going to be here. And the only way we can prepare is to start by reading the scriptures and knowing him, knowing that he is our help, he is our deliverer, he's our friend. We got to know these things. That's what's going to help us stand. Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, you know the summer is nigh. So likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. All you got to do is, you can do some YouTube searches, and I'm sure other searches online too, to see the weather damages that are happening all over the world. And now America is starting to get more and more in America. It's talked about in one of the scriptures how when the end comes, it's going to be like a woman in birth pains. And that's what's starting to happen. More and more is happening. We in America are starting to have floods. It used to be in those other countries, which some aristocratic, high-minded, money-heavy persons or people started calling certain countries third world countries, and I don't know why, and I still don't know who the first and second world are. But anyways, their countries have had the earthquakes and the tornadoes and the volcano eruptions and all those things happening, but now America is starting to have them. But these things are going to happen before he returns. He's returning after the tribulation, immediately after the tribulation. And there's going to be an end to the tribulations because of the elect that are here. And he's going to shorten those days. But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Then shall two be in the field, the one shall be taken and the other left. Two women shall be grinding at the mill, the one shall be taken, the other left. Watch therefore, for you know not for what hour your Elohim doth come. Your Adonai doth come. But know this, that if the good man of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched and would not have suffered his house to be broken up. Therefore ye be also ready, for in such an hour you think not the Son of Man cometh. That gets so heavy to me at times, because we don't know the hour that things are going to change. And we do know that Paul said that when they say peace, peace is going to be sudden destruction. And that time is coming. There's so much turmoil in the world. I was watching bits and pieces on the news because I usually don't watch the news, and just seeing all the unrest all over the world. And the other day I was watching, I said, oh my, okay, this has to happen so that man of sin can come up, that false prophet, and have be the one that's going to speak peace, and people are going to just love him because he's going to have all the answers in the world. He's going to answer all the problems and just solve everything. And so that's where we're headed. We will be here. Revelation says that the tribulation that's coming on the face of the earth to try every person on the face of the earth. I may flip to that in Revelations when I finish this, if I have time. Okay. So we have to be ready, for in such an hour as you think not, the Son of Man cometh. Okay. We have to wake up. We have to wake up. I'm going to turn to Revelation and try to read a few scriptures. There's so many scriptures that confirm Matthew 24 that are in not just Revelations, but definitely in Revelations. So Revelations 3 and 5 says, he that overcometh, the same shall be clothed in white raiment. Remember in Matthew 24, he said, he that endured to the end, the same shall be saved. So Revelation 3:5 says, he that overcometh, the same shall be clothed in white raiment, and I will not blot out his name out of the book of life, and I will confess his name before the Father and before his angels. Excuse me. Does anyone talk about the Lamb's Book of Life anymore? If our names are not in that book, we're not coming in. So we have to daily ask y'all to forgive us of our sins and cleanse us from all unrighteousness. And then we work at changing our ways. Revelations 3 verse 10, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation. Here it is, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. It's for everybody. It's to try us to see who are we with? Are we lukewarm? Are we hot? Or are we cold? Because he said if we're lukewarm, he will spew us out of his mouth. So it's time to wake up. There's a lot happening in the world. And we just have to know that we're going to be here. Because I was thinking the other day, I said, I would like to ask a rapture believer, so what time y'all leaving? When y'all supposed to leave? And things are bad. Things are bad. Right now, things are bad. So start reading your word. Start praying. Get fortified by the strength of his word. And Paul wrote in Ephesians 3, I think, 1 or 3, where he says, but to be strengthened with might by his spirit in our inner man. We have to be strengthened with his power, his strength in our inner man to be able to stand during this time. But we can't. We can be encouraged because he has great plans for us during this day. The enemy knows he's getting ready to lose his kingdom. So he's fighting furiously. And that in itself should be an encouragement to us to know that we win. We win, we win. There's a little chorus that goes, we are kingdom people, mighty warriors, encouraged believers, kings of the land, possessors of light, ready to do battle for what is right. We are kingdom people. We win. We win. Get that warrior mentality. We win. But we got to wake up. We got to know what's happening. Because Paul says we don't sleep as those that sleep in the night. We are awake. All right. Talk to you soon.